Good morning, everyone. So is everyone ready for an exciting lineup of talks this morning? Okay, great. So before I introduce the first speaker, just a few quick announcements. Actually, this Green Talks has been running since August this year, and this is our 5th event, and this will be our last event for the year. So that's a relief, but we have another exciting program next year. So these are our partners. The Green Talks is hosted by Zurelli together with Sunway and also Big Deal. We are in the Big Deal venue right now. And it is supported by IRDA. So we'd like to thank all our partners who have really been a great help. Okay, so these Green Talks, it's all about helping industries to become more green and sustainable. And each Green Talk is focused at a different industry. So today's Green Talks is focused on the industrial operations, and a lot of you here are involved in that or interested in that or affiliated with that. Okay, next slide. So today, these are the showcasing companies. I think one of them hasn't arrived yet, probably on the way from KL. And we have today Synergy. Synergy is not here yet. They should be here soon. They're also giving a talk. We have Green RE, who will be giving a talk later. Back Free is also here. They brought along the rainwater harvesting demo, and they are also providing the water for today. So they're also the drinking water sponsor, because we aim to be as sustainable and a sustainable event as well, so no plastic bottles. Okay, we also have a few other companies. Previous one, Surya Infinity is also here, and Isotech, as well as G Energy. G Energy is actually providing services. They are not exhibiting, but they'll be giving a talk. And we have the environment today, okay? And later at the end, we'll be having a community message by SWM Environment, because we also like to promote social responsibility and community efforts as well. And of course, the great coffee just now was from Lab, which is having a outlet at the Cycling Hub, which is just down the road. Okay, so I just wanted to let all of you know that all the companies here today, almost all of them, some of them still need to give us some info to list, but they are all listed on the portal called Zurelli. So for example, if you want to find out about Back Free, I just randomly chose Back Free, no favoritism or anything. You can just go to the portal and put in the company name, and you'll be able to find the details about Back Free. And if you would like to look at what products they have, you can also find it there. So you can see the rainwater harvesting, the water roll unit. Or if you don't have a company in mind, but you are looking for a specific product to help you with your business or even in your home, you can search using the keywords. So for example, if you're looking for rainwater harvesting system, you can put that in, and these are all the companies on the portal, the Zurelli.com, which have this product. So you can see Back Free is also listed there. So for all the companies here today, you should be able to find them on the portal. Okay. Next slide, it will be about our program. So we're having a series of talks, another round of networking, and for those who are interested, there will be a short tour of the Big Wheel. It's quite an amazing building, and the views are really fantastic as well. You can see the sea and the Pendas River. Okay, so like Tim mentioned, we now have a website specially for Malaysia. Okay, so this is a website where you can go to refer to all the past green talks, like who was speaking, find out a bit about what they were speaking about the companies, and also this will be put up later about today's event. And you can also check out what we will be having next year. Next year's events are already up there. Okay, now without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker for today, Michael Chang. He's actually the Managing Director and founder of The Big Wheel and the co-host for the event. Michael has an engineering background, but recently is very passionate about promoting entrepreneurs and SMEs. So please join me to welcome Michael. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. First of all, I'd like to say that very good morning to everyone and very supportive friends here. And I myself actually am Michael Chang, founder of Big Wheel. And why I start this business, maybe I'll just roughly go through. I was an engineer, project manager in Singapore in the fabrication industry. So today the topic is talking about industrial operation. How are we going to go through to save the energy towards during this industrial operation. So first come to efficiency. If you want to increase the efficiency of the productivity, it means that we can reduce the usage of the energy itself, like electric, or those material like grinder, or cutter, or this screw and nuts. All this actually you can consider how you manage the stock management. All this actually is saving the energy in another way. So when I started this Big Wheel, we try to bring all what I have learned in Singapore and bring back to Malaysia. And when we started that time with a very minimum of a startup cost, and we try to save a lot of things in terms of money, in terms of investment on the system, or invest in furniture or whatever. We try to save the cost. So when it comes to save the cost, actually it's saving the energy itself as well. So this building, our headquarters actually is green building index, and we are trying to minimize all this energy by increasing this natural light. You can found that all our building with these glasses everywhere, so we don't on any light in daytime. Now I'm trying to off later here. Yeah, and aircon itself actually is before 10 o'clock is off. After 10, only room will apply on will switch on the aircon when they use it. So normal day and no people there is off all the time. So actually we are playing the role that we're trying to build more and more entrepreneurial businesses and startup involved in doing together with Jewelry. It's very thanks to Sharon and Mr. Tim, because they are bringing a lot of effort and create all these things in East Township, especially in New Township itself. So our task actually, we are building up an SME community, hope more friends or business owners start their business here, and especially with green, and you can practice more, and you can get themselves from jewelry as well. And maybe you later on if you're free, you can drop or have a company tour to see something what you have done for the green saving. Then maybe you can practice at your production floor. Yeah, I think I don't share more on our business. Just a little bit with the space renting. We are providing professional services like legal, accounting, secretariat, and some business consultation. And we do provide education, like incubation program. We just sign MOU and agreement with Sunway University for incubation. And we also have one international school for this finance entrepreneurship for youth. Start from 4 years old to 18 and 18 to 30. So anyone who want to start, learn from 4 years old, you can look for us. Our program will start by next year. And coming soon, we do have another partner who coming in, which is Alibaba B2B e-commerce. Tomorrow we're going to have to sign this MOU also. So actually this is helping local community, especially SME. So we hope you can check out our Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, look for this logo, Big Wheel. Yeah. Thanks for everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks. Thank you.
The next speaker is Alex Pang. He's from IRDA, Iskandar Regional Development Authority. And Alex will be talking about Gaia. I'm not sure how many of you have actually heard of Gaia. It's very interesting new awards. Well, it's not new, it's actually the third year running, but this is the third round. So Alex is actually from the Environment Division of IRDA, and he is an experienced associate with demonstrated history, experience in solid waste management and carbon advisory. So please join me to welcome Alex.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Sharon, and the organizing committee for the efforts. So today I will give a brief introduction on Gaia. Gaia actually stands for the Green Accord Initiative Awards. It's an initiative by IRDA, the Iskandar Regional Development Authority. So before I start, I would like to introduce how this Gaia Award come about. So IRDA, we do have this low carbon society blueprint for Iskandar Malaysia 2025. Gaia is one of the key actions in our low carbon society blueprint under the action names Green Industry and Low Carbon Urban Governance. In this low carbon society blueprints, we have three themes: green economy, green community, and green environment. So this blueprint is actually a guide for policymakers, businesses, and NGO and others into going green. There's 12 actions grouped into three themes, as I've mentioned. IRDA launched its blueprint globally at COP18 in Doha, Qatar in 2012, and targeted to achieve greenhouse gas emission intensity reduction of 58% by the year 2025. And as of 2017, more than 45 programs we have implemented, and 10.7% of greenhouse gas emission intensity reduction in 2016. So Green Accord Initiative Award, Gaia, is an initiative and also a source incentive scheme developed by IRDA that honors outstanding business, organization in Iskandar Malaysia who have contributed towards the adoption of sustainable design, planning, operation and retrofitting in the building environment. So we have our panels, 5 panels. They are Steve from SEDA Malaysia, Sustainable Energy Development Authority Malaysia, Prof. Hamdan and Prof. Ho from UTM, Saiba from Urban Technologies, and Nasha from UNDP Malaysia. So we have basically 3 categories for this Gaia Award: green building, green industry, and green township. So I'll go through with you briefly on the assessment criteria for building and industry. So basically we look into 3 parts, 3 sections: the environmental quality, environmental load, and innovation commitments. So we look into indoor environmental quality, outdoor environmental sites, quality services, energy efficiency, water efficiencies, resources management, renewable energy management commitment and efforts. So this is just roughly, I won't go into detail. And apart from that, we have a new category for this year. It's called the Green Township. So these are the list of criteria we have, like for resources, natural environment, artifact, impartiality, safety, security, amenity, traffic, growth potential, efficiency, air quality, education, and balance. So this is the brochure. I think I brought it with me, so you can take a look. Okay. Before I end, there's a video from that I've prepared. So I'll let the video do the talking.
event is actually part of our effort in Iskandar, Malaysia in transforming this region into a strong and sustainable metropolis of international standing. So whilst development continues to happen rapidly in this region, we must also heed to the need to protect the environment. And the event that we have today is a demonstration of our seriousness in dealing with environmental issues here in this region.
This event is a joint event. The reason for this is that we want to cover two particular topics. One is called Gaia Eco Initiative Award, and we will screen those who have really got the developers, people, authorities, and others. The other event is called Building Energy Management and Reporting System. It's a new project that we are doing in Malaysia. In fact, in Malaysia, it's quite new.
The basic concept of KSP is that for comprehensive assessment system for building energy efficiency. This is a very interesting concept because it uses the concept of Q as quality divided by load. Under the quality, you will have different sets of criteria like indoor, energy, sustainability, water, consumption. So these are the standard quality we expect the building to have. And the load actually we measure in terms of what are the CO2 emissions produced by the building. For the KSP cities and development, we look into a bigger parameter because it's now bigger environment. So actually when we come to development actually when I say development here means actually our housing estates, neighborhood level or community level. So the criteria are different levels. KSP is a system that developed in Japan by a ministry working with a professional group called IDAC. So we look at the system, how this can be adapted into the Malaysian region. We need to monitor in such a way that actually we suit everything. Actually, we bring the founder himself and key personnel, because each other and also coming to come to Malaysia and look into how we go about the adaptive system.
Previous to Gaia, we actually focus more on buildings and building energy consumption. And what I'm saying this year is we are taking the whole township because buildings are not the only factor in overall carbon. So you have transportation, you have water, and then you have waste management. So all these are connected. We are actually taking into consideration when we move to township to see all the factors of building.
I think with this award, it awakens people to know that our authority is conscious about it. So with this award, like I said, it's not a win or then straight away you can sell how you know. It's a work in progress. And there's a lot of challenges that you got to do. It's not the milestone that I'm referring to like it's achieved and stop there. What I'm saying is a marker stone that we know that we are going in the right direction and we are recognized as a community as a whole that we are doing the correct and right thing for the society.
So recently we have actually kicked off the 10th Gaia Award by YB Tan, our exco. So the recent Gaia Award recipients 2017 and 2016 are Sutra Mall, Hecap Industries, Sdn Bhd, Mordecai, and special mention in Gaia, Panasonic, and iPark Kulai. So I take this opportunity to welcome every one of you who would love to participate in Gaia. Do send us your details. We have extended our closing dates to 31st of January next year. So I welcome every one of you to join. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So now you have heard about it. I hope some of you will think about applying. If not this time, maybe the next time. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Ashwin Raja, who is a professional engineer and technical director of Green RE. He holds a master's degree in electrical and electronic engineering from Imperial College and has contributed to research papers pertaining to distributed generation and renewable energy solutions for residential applications. And he is also a member of the Construction Industry Transformation Panel, working group seeking the role of several sustainability initiatives in Malaysia. So today he will be sharing on the bigger picture on the greening of industrial facilities. Please join me to welcome Ashwin.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, sorry.
All right, good morning everyone. I'd like to begin by, I think many of you have heard this many times, but there should be no doubt of human impact to climate change. We know that climate change is happening, but the human impact is very apparent. It is scientifically probable. We all have a part to play in changing the environment, if possible. Another important thing to note is that as part of the Paris Accord, there's a global concerted effort to take on green initiatives to reduce or rather limit the temperature rise in the environment by 2 degrees Celsius. So all the steps that we're doing now is not going to reduce global warming, rather it's going to limit the rate at which it rises. So much so that our new minister, YB Yo, when she attended one of our events recently, she talked not just about green buildings, but also about buildings that are resilient to climate change. We are looking at environmental catastrophes that are happening quicker and at far more severe rates than it has in the past. So green buildings are now not just better for the environment, they're also resilient and necessary to ensure their longevity. Okay, now I will, it seems to be working. Technical hiccup. Okay, alright. Okay, so I will just introduce who we are first, what Green RDB is. So we are a subsidiary of REDA. REDA is the Real Estate and Housing Developers Association. It is a representative body for most of the private developers in Malaysia. So we have been set up as a sustainability initiative, and we have developed a green certification standard by which buildings, townships, infrastructure projects and so forth, anything in the built environment really can be evaluated on their environmental credentials. And this provides an objective evaluation, allows comparability between projects, and in a way drives awareness about environmental impacts to the built environment. Apart from green building certification, we also do a lot of training activities. These training activities are essential in spreading the word and increasing knowledge about the various initiatives that are out there, the technologies that are coming up, bringing all stakeholders in the ecosystem together. That is what we aim to do. And of course, Zureli is, likewise doing very much the same thing, and we like to be a part of these sort of sessions as we go forward. Now, as a green certification standard, I'm not sure, some of you may be aware, some may not be. There are a lot of international standards out there, such as LEED, Green Mark, BREEAM in the UK. But not all of them are necessarily, the international standards are applicable to the tropical climate, and especially the unique needs of different countries. So in Malaysia, we have a lot of ambition, a lot of parties involved in the building sector have set up standards. We have a plethora of tools. In fact, GBI, Green Building Index, was set up in 2009. Site Derby has set up something called SUSTEX, which is a sustainability, a global, it's more of a broader, far-reaching sustainability evaluation metric. MGTC, which is a subsidiary of MESTEC, our Ministry of Energy, Science and Technology, they have set up the Low Carbon Cities Framework. Within the government itself, we have Green Pass, PHJKR, and now MyPress. There are infrastructure rating tools such as MyGHI, which is set up by the Highway Authority, this specifically for highways. Of course, in Iskandar, we have the KESPI Iskandar standard. And of course, Green REIT fits somewhere in the middle there. Now you see all these certification standards there, but only 2 are fully recognized by the Malaysian government. And why should they be recognized by the Malaysian government? This is because there are tax incentives that are offered by MIDA, the Malaysian Investment Development Authority, for buildings certified to go green. Now this tax incentive is there really just to sort of kickstart and get people moving forward, giving them some sort of incentive. But in reality, we shouldn't need any incentives. The fact that the environment is in dire straits should be enough of a reason. I think everyone seems to be of the it's too big a problem to solve, and how can one little building make a difference? Well, every vote counts, as you can see in an election. Right? So in the same way, every effort that we can do, however small, will make an impact. So the tax incentives, from a tax incentives perspective, it's only GBI and Greenry currently in Malaysia. Okay, so we didn't invent, REDA didn't invent the new certification standard from scratch. We have actually adapted our standard from Green Mark, the Singapore Green Mark. So we wanted to, in a way, the standards that were set up in Malaysia, in some ways, had a vested interest to the people developing. So they wanted an objective, transparent, open standard. And Green Mark, which is a proven, established, profitable standard, was a good model to follow. So we can assure you, right now we're talking about affordability and limiting costs in the construction sector. Going green would seem like another layer of fact that is, not important right now. So we have to address that as well. As we go green, it has to be done in the right way, in an affordable way, without, having any components in there that add unnecessary layers. So Greenry is a truly transparent, open standard, and we can say that the four buzzwords are relevant, affordable, flexible, and transparent. So the affordability comes in from the flexibility that we have got in our standard. We are not rigid in our approach. We score a project over a set number of points. However, there's a lot more of those points available to choose from. So we score you over 100 points, but you've got about 180 different elements to choose from. So therein allows flexibility, and it gives you a better chance of complying with a lower cost. A study was done by CREAM, to look at the various tools available. As you can see, as I mentioned, a lot of those tools are out there. If I can just put this pointer on, you can look at Greenly. You can see the red band. Our focus is very much on energy efficiency. Now, when you talk about a green building or a green development, there's various aspects to it, as was pointed out by the Gaia model as well. We look at indoor environment quality, we look at energy efficiency, water efficiency, carbon impact, reducing a carbon impact, using sustainable materials. There are so many things in the framework, but we want to focus on energy efficiency, because in Malaysia, that is the major factor that we need to tackle. It has a two-pronged effect. It helps with the buy-in, because if we can make buildings that operate for lower cost, that creates a payback element and will make the investment worthwhile. In addition, if you look at our energy mix, in terms of power generation, 90% still comes from fossil fuels. So by making our buildings more energy efficient, we are going to reduce our emissions of CO2, which is the major contributor to global warming. So if we go on, okay, as I mentioned earlier, we are recognized by MIDA, courtesy of being recognized by NGTC. We are also recognized in the Iskandar region, IRDA, by the Iskandar Regional Development Authority. Apart from that, the two largest local authorities in Malaysia currently, BBKL and MPPJ, actually have green building requirements as part of the planning permission. So there are some local authorities taking steps to make it a mandatory requirement to level the playing fields of sorts. There's no more excuses about it being expensive. This is how we do business. And we want to encourage, as part of our efforts, we are also going, there are 132 local authorities in Malaysia. With a 3-tier government system, we can have federal policies, but it's not going to be implemented on the ground unless the local authorities adopt it. It has to be gazetted at state level. So we are approaching these local authorities as well to get them to put some green initiatives into their standards to drive this change. I think the private sector, we've had 10 years to take this on board on a voluntary basis, but somehow, for whatever reason, there's been a hold up. So we need to now start pushing it from the top down. Of course, the end users, if you demand this, it will be even better. Drive change, get the developers to come up with buildings that are certified. At the end, our certification is really just the tip of the iceberg. It is a way of independently, objectively evaluating their effort. You may already be doing a lot of it. If there are developers here, you may already be incorporating a lot of this. Why not get it certified? Get it set up. The costs are not expensive. And these are some of the projects that we have certified thus far. We've got about over 150 projects here, covering more than 100 million square feet. still very, very tiny in the grand scheme of things. And these are some of our projects, KL118, NTTDI, Platinum Building. Okay, now I will come, running a little bit on greenery, I will come straight to how it applies to industrial facilities. We have a set of tools that apply to different building types. We have one for residential buildings, non-residential buildings, existing non-residential buildings, hospitals, offices, and recently, we have just recently launched, last month, a set of industrial certification standards, specifically for industrial buildings. We also have planning tools for townships and infrastructure projects. Our industrial facilities toolkit was launched by YBEO itself, YBEO Beings. This was on the 22nd of November. We had as part of our Sustainable Design Awards. Now, why do we need, why the focus on industrial facilities? I would say in terms of greenhouse gas emissions in the built environment, 40% of this comes from the industrial sector in Malaysia. So it is a very important component to tackle. The Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers are targeting 100 green factories by 2020. Currently, we have about 15 or 16 certified by other certification tools, but we are still a long way off. Just over a year to go. So we need to do a lot of things to achieve that target. Now, if we look at why we should build a green sustainable facility, a green industrial facility, it will be in line with our government sustainable development goals. There will be financial benefits, improve brand image and sales, it will improve the workers' health and productivity, and also take advantage of the tax incentives that I mentioned. There was a lead study done. Unfortunately, we don't have enough local data yet because of the small number of projects that we have currently. But this is generally what you should see by certifying yourself to a green standard. There will be an operating cost reduction of at least 8 to 9%. In fact, we feel a bit more. There will be a building value increase of around 7.5%. There will be productivity gain to the workers, reduced worker absenteeism, because it's not just, as I mentioned, there's several pillars to going green, and indoor environment quality is another component of that. And this can help improve productivity and make it a better working space. There will be a longer economic life because quality is also an element of green buildings. We have collaboration with CIDB. If we get your buildings certified with QLASIC, we can score some points in our standards. Now, as I mentioned, the scoring process as part of our facility, these are the main components that we look at. Energy efficiency, water, environmental protection, IEQ, other green features being innovations, things that you may have done that may not be explicitly mentioned in our standards, and of course there's a carbon calculator. So we score you over 100 points, but there are 197 points to choose from. Okay? And to ensure that there's an even spread between the components, there's a minimum number of 30 points you have to get from part 1, which is energy efficiency, and this is capped at 50 points. So half your points come from EE, the other half come from the other parts 2 to 6. Now these are some of the elements in a green facility that we look at. So first, if you look at energy efficiency, we're talking about overall thermal transfer value. This is the amount of heat that comes through the facade of the building. There's a calculation on how to achieve it. It's called OTTV. In fact, this calculation has now been gazetted in our uniform building bylaws. It's a UBBR 38A. Not many people may be aware. And this is currently in line to be gazetted across all the states in Malaysia. So it will become a code requirement to do this. And it has to be within a certain range, 50 watts per square meter. So this means you're going to reduce the amount of windows. You're going to have lots of glass. It's going to be a low E or low U value glass. Air conditioning system, another very important aspect. 60%. If you look at the building, 60% comes from air conditioning. In an industrial facility, maybe not so high. But what we do is we also look at process loads and how you can benchmark it. Some facilities may have unique process requirements. We will allow you to show us evidence of how you benchmark it against a similar process line and show us the energy saving. And we have a matrix by which we evaluate that and score you. So I won't go into too much detail on all the components, but as you can see, environmental protection part 3, we look at things like sustainable construction practices, incorporation of sustainable product, connectivity. You know, if you are a green industrial facility, if you are close to points of mass transportation or highways or cargo facilities, you will get scored better. Stormwater management as well now is a very important area. Lots of flash floods in Malaysia. So we look at going beyond NASMA. You know, but these things are not expensive, not necessarily expensive. You know, I think every time I talk about getting green certified, everyone thinks, oh, you know, it's just going to add a whole lot of cost. There are many innovative ways you can do this. There are lots of green consultants out there. I think G Energy is another speaker here. They are another example of green consultants who can add value to your construction design. In many cases, you can even make it cheaper to comply with this standard. So this is a way really to you can look at it as a way to optimize your operations as well. And this is how our scoring is. So we've got several tiers to give you different ratings based on the scoring. Bronze being the minimum, 50 points at least you have to score. And at the top end, platinum, you have to get 90 points and above. If you look at our projects, of the 150 projects we have so far, about 60% are bronze. And you'll be surprised to see that there are a lot of, another 20 to 30% are coming from the upper tier. So there are a lot of projects actually striving to improve and go to the top line as a high performance green building. And just a quick overview of how the process works. So we will normally award a provisional certificate once your design is complete. So if you have a new facility, even before you start construction, once your design is finalized, you can submit it to us, we will review it, and if you achieve our standards, we will award you a provisional cert. So you can use this for marketing and branding and whatnot. We do a site verification assessment once the building is complete. So this is usually done about 6 months after the project, or 50% occupancy is achieved, whichever comes earlier. After which you will get a final certificate that is valid for 3 years. After 3 years, we encourage projects to review this to ensure continuing compliance. The assessment fees for getting certified and getting it reviewed are very, very small. I think if you look at, if you come over to our booth, we have a price list of our assessment fees. It's very objective. We go based on the gross floor area of the project. We're looking at something like for a mega project at most 35 to 40,000. And this is A to Z across the life cycle of the project. Okay, so with that, I would end my presentation and hope I've enlightened some of you who are not aware of what green certification is. And take it, hopefully you'll seek some form of green initiative in the projects that you're working on. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ashwin. You can see that Ashwin is very passionate about this environmental protection and greening of the planet, right? And I'm sure a lot of you here today. So every bit counts. So let's all work together towards changes. Okay, the next speaker is Mr. Nitish Malani, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Enviro Group. He's also involved in the Entrepreneurship Foundation, right? So Michael, something in common with Michael as well. He's the current chairman, right? And also the founder. So EnviroWorks is involved in environmental industrial hygiene, slightly different topic now, and also indoor engineering solutions. And they have been in this business since 2006, headquartered in Kuala Lumpur and rapidly growing in Asia. So please welcome me to please join me to welcome Nitish.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sharon. Do I have 10 minutes?
10 to 15. Oh, you need 15? Is it
So,
okay? Okay, 15.
this is going to be a bit different from what our previous speaker shared. So a quick intro of where we started. As a company, we started in 2005, focusing on mold remediation. As a company, we were called Dr. Mold when we started years ago. As we moved on, the company has now grown not only in strength but in different areas of expertise. We basically cater to a larger clientele portfolio and in different segments of markets. The core business that we are into serves not only clients. We talked a lot about IAQ and IEQ in terms of green building certifications, and we support a lot of clients at that segment. And I'm more than happy to go in depth a bit more into that area should there be questions. But this is as a group, we support a lot of different segments of market. So we dive straight into the topic that we have, or we're going to discuss this morning. It's into environmental industrial hygiene, a topic that people talk about IAQ, IEQ, a lot of terminologies that has been spoken by the West. I call this marketing gimmicks, but there are many more. What we practice right here and looking at this holistically, the concept called environmental industrial hygiene, where it involves 4 key areas, namely environment that we live in or we work in, the various exposures and risks that we talk about, the people that are involved in these areas, and of course the hazards. So if we look at these 4 key areas of concern in buildings that we build or we operate into, and basically that's what is very important to look at. And I hope standards like Green RE, as we move on, or we have been engaging with GBI as well, that I think IAQ should be expanded to an area that's more detailed into chemicals, and now you have more and more biological contaminations coming into play, physical contaminations, and this can be considered as your ongoing improvements as you move. We talk about guidelines, standards and regulation. Certainly the regional countries that we look at, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand for that matter, has been pretty aggressive into standards, guidelines, and while Malaysia is still catching up. Into, for example, IAQ, the Ministry of Human Resources, DOSH, have been actively involved in setting up guidelines. ICOP, if some of you may have been familiar with, is the Industrial Code of Practice for IAQ, has been around for a while, but it's a code of practice. It's taking a lot of building owners a bit of time to implement them, but these are areas that you may want to understand a bit more. So we have the air quality IAQ assessment under ICOP. You have the noise exposure monitoring. That's something that a lot of offices are continuously doing. You have the CHRA, the Chemical Health Risk Assessment, which is a initiative that also been legislated, especially with the manufacturing industry, hotels, hospitality. Not so much in the offices, but depends on which types of chemicals that you work on. Drinking water, we have been seeing a huge spike in interest in drinking water samples, and also water sampling that's done from your cooling towers right down to the water suppliers that you get. And we have back through here who may be able to talk about how they monitor their water qualities and filtration systems. So we do a lot of LEV, HRA, ICAM, and so on and so forth. So we have expertise that are based internally, and these are all certified personnel or individuals who continue to offer the best that we can. A bit of an in-depth of the various services and area of expertise that we provide. So as a group right now, the Enviro Group has gone what we tell most of our customers, we provide right from your ventilation systems to your carpets or your floor finishes that you use. So in terms of area of expertise, it's right from your consulting to provide certification programs, various services that you need to basically rectify and remedy a lot of your issues that you may have after the assessment. We have products and technologies which I will be sharing right after this with you guys, and certainly a lot of training and certifications programs. So if you look at what we do is from air quality assessments, we do a lot of microbial testing in compliance to different standards, mechanical ventilation systems maintenance and cleanings is something that Malaysian buildings do. I was surprised as we went into the industry, we realized most buildings have not even looked at their ventilation systems in the past 10, 15, 20 years. This I'm talking about downtown KL, the smack of KLCC, where you have your A-grade buildings. I think green building certification is far away, but the basic aircon systems are not looked at internally for the last 15 years. So this is something that we need to advocate and continue to educate the market. We talked about water quality, chemical. So this is the core pillar of what Enviro Group does as a business. Remediation, we've been doing a lot of remediation projects over the years. I think in Johor, if I see the crowd here is from Johor, many years ago, Hospital Sultan Ismail was closed because of mold, and that's a very dear project of mine that we worked on for 2 years with JKR. It took us 1.5 years to remediate the hospital, hand it over back, and today you see it operating at full scale. Hospital was closed for 6 months. Big hoo-ha in the papers, and we had to find a solution. How do we solve that problem at that point of time? So some of the various products, some of the products are there on our table. We can be more than happy to share with you guys. In terms of portable and fixed solutions that we can provide towards your air quality problems and the various solutions that you require. So interestingly, as we moved on, everybody is talking about IoT, smart data. How do we monitor air quality? Now, some of you may know how air quality assessment has been done over the years. It's always using various tools, meters. You bring in a particle counter, check your particle levels, or you need to do a test on your bacteria and fungus. You use an agar plate, send it to a lab. All this takes time and it's very in situ. Assessment is done there, you get your reading, and then you get a report. That's how we do it, and that's how it has been done in the past. Moving forward with technology, in the last 24 months, we have been doing extensive research and development with a group of young startups out of Hong Kong. And now, what we have achieved right now is our first prototype of a product called IntelliQ. It's extremely small, as you can see. Looks like an air freshener. And what this air freshener sort of food does, it provides you the entire parameters you require of your IEQ or IAQ, you can call it, right on your mobile phone. You have your data right on your mobile phone. You are able to monitor this 24/7, 365 days a week. And a lot of questions are asked about data being or accuracy and how can we basically monitor some of this data. And we have safely tested this not only in Malaysia but around the various countries in Europe and Germany. We have an accuracy of 97% compared to conventional reading or assessment that's done. So very data-driven, continuous monitoring provides you report results that you need to take action right away. So So this is what you see inside. So it measures your temperature, your RH, your particles, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, VOCs, ozone, carbon monoxide, air pressure. So it gives you your basic information. Now, what we tell people is what you cannot measure, you cannot mitigate. The moment you measure, now you are able to take some steps and action plan on how do you solve problems. Right? So the data that you will get, it's basically on excellent, fair, and poor. This can be changed on your dashboard, which is on your mobile or iPad or on your screen. This can be set according to your requirements of your buildings or different properties. Multiple units can be hooked onto one system. If you have a township or a building with multiple floors, you need multiple units, you can put this through on one dashboard. It's very beautifully done. So you see, you get reports right away, and it's driven by your day, week, month, and however you want the reportings to be. So this is excellent systems for buildings that are already going green in terms of data capture. So you can set various prompts. You get your signals right on your email or your mobile. Should threshold levels go above certain level? We were talking about energy efficiency earlier. The previous. So a lot of people can't measure the temperatures desired in a building. Now, if you have data that's continuous, and we had a client recently who says that we on our chillers at 5:30 in the morning just to achieve a temperature of 23, 24 degrees Celsius at 9 o'clock. The question was, if you had data that tells you at 8:45 your temperatures are actually 19 degrees Celsius, wouldn't it make sense to on your chillers now 2 hours later and save energy? The problem why you're on your chillers at 5:30 is because you don't have data. Your engineers are in anticipation that I need to cool my building, somebody's going to come to work at 8:30, so I need to on my systems at that particular time. But if you have continuous data for a week or two, imagine the amount of energy you can save by on your chillers 2 hours later. So these are data that we want to encourage building owners to have, and it's on your palms. So millions of dollars are spent on building systems, energy efficiency tools. Of course, there are so many other tools that we can use, but this may be one of them. People get sick. We talk about sick building syndrome all the time. That's something I think most of you involved in the industry already know. But this is something that we can address this with this device. A huge amount of ROIs in terms of investments. We have kept this device economically affordable, just below 2,000 ringgit, and a very small yearly software cost, which is not the point of having this device or tool within your building is to capture data and basically solution-driven technologies that we are introducing in the market. It has adhered, and we are in the process of working with certifications and endorsements from most of the global standards, guidelines. The Malaysian, we will be talking to the various organizations in months to come. We launched this actually 1.5 months ago, exactly. So in months to come, you will see more of this product in the market. Okay, so I think in conclusion, the business that we are in is trying to make the world a healthier place to live by having a good and proper indoor environment that serves you better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nitesh. Okay, the next speaker will be Robert Guok, who's just traveled from KL this morning. In fact, his flight was delayed, so thank God he made it on time. And Robert is the Director and General Manager of Malaysia and China for G Energy Integrated Services. And he has had an illustrious career in this field. So today he will be sharing a very important topic about energy efficiency and how you can also save energy and save your operational costs as well. So without further ado, please join me to welcome Robert. Thank you.
The laser is the top one.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I was supposed to take the second slot earlier, then help it. Luckily. Anyway, does the name Robert Kwok rings a bell? It's not that Robert Kwok. Although we came from the same kampong. Well, today I like to share with all of you here. I was told you will be very much a industrial crowd. So this paper is this topic is tailored towards industry. Okay, some of you here could be already expert in some of the fields that I'm going to mention. But nevertheless, I have put in here a few solutions which you may find it interesting. Okay, G Energy in brief. We are the leading ESCO in Southeast Asia. ESCO as in energy service company. Okay, we have about 70 energy practitioners, businesses in 10 countries, mostly in Asia Pacific, including China. And we have completed some 600 energy projects since the day we incorporated. That's 2005. And we were voted by Frost & Sullivan of UK as ESCO of the Year for Southeast Asia twice. Okay. Key focus for factories, or for that matter, most factories would be some of these areas which are key energy consuming systems. The first one is boiler, and CDA as in the compressed air system, and solar PV, that's our focus too, and ACMV as in aircon and mechanical ventilation. And the last one, which we are trying to promote, which may not be familiar to most factories, is we call it combined cooling, heating and power generation, or if you like, trigen or cogen. Okay. Our approach is a slightly different. We would like to do a brief walkthrough of the site of a factory, which may take about a day, right? And from the walkthrough assessment, we will be able to determine your potential room for improvement. We may come back to report to the clients about what is the potential savings you could be looking at and investment. So this will facilitate the decision making for the clients before you just dive into spending a lot of money. With that, if the decision is to move forward, then we would propose a level 3 energy audit, which we call it an investment grade energy audit. And this will entail detailed data logging for minimum 2 weeks, meaning we will have to insert some high precision instrumentation and probably doing some hot tapping. And later on a report will be generated, but this will cost some money. And with that, you will also follow with a optimization design. It means we will offer the client several solutions, several alternatives for any specific area, and of course it comes with the economics. And then we will discuss with the client which investment option that they will choose to take. May it be they would like to invest on their own, or they would choose to go for a zero cost method, meaning we will do the investment. And of course, what follows that is project management. We'll deliver the project. What is different here is for every project that we deliver, we would do a performance verification. It's like most perhaps some contractors, they will do it and tell you, okay, it should save so much. But for us, we speak with the figures, right? We will have to do the verification to deliver. If we tell you that we deliver 0.6 kilowatt per ton, to show you that yes, we did meet that. Okay, as I say, why should we conduct a walkthrough assessment first? First of all, we would like to take a holistic approach to a factory. We'll look at all the key areas. So identify all your potential savings opportunity. All right. Next, we would, in this way, if we will try to avoid, or in fact, for the client to avoid jumping into investing into some special area. In fact, most energy systems are interlinked, so we should look at it in totality. For example, if you are looking at replacing a chiller that is old, how about if you have a chance to integrate a cogen or trigen, which is also going to generate some chill water for you, so you may want to take the decision in total, so you don't have to do double investment. Okay, and again, in this case, you provide direction for the client as to what you should do first to prioritize. And level 3 here is the key thing is to establish the energy baseline, right? You don't know what you are getting right now. You cannot manage what you do not know, right? If you're talking about what is the so-called improvement, you need to establish the baseline. Baseline, okay, for example, a chiller plant is normally, we call it kilowatt per ton, right? Efficiency. And we estimate the potential savings. In this way, level 3 would facilitate decision making for interim and long term. Okay, you can decide what to do first. Right, I will go straight into solution 1, trigen or cogen. Trigen meaning you get all the 3. You get chill water. First of all, this picture is a gas engine, right? Gas engine, you power the gas engine using natural gas, and in the process, you get, first of all, electricity, and you fully recover the heat, waste heat. Either you use it for hot water, steam, or chill water. Chill water, that is when you pass the heat through a absorption chiller. Okay, it depends on the application here. Now for factories, sometimes you don't need the chill water, but you like to have the steam or hot water. So in that case, we will propose a cogen, which is running on turbine. Right? It's a different application, but both can come under the cogen also. Okay, key advantages of a trigen or cogen system is that, first of all, imagine if your maximum demand is, say, 20 megawatt. All right, I propose a system of 10 megawatt. Immediately, you cut your maximum demand charges, 10 megawatt. Okay, 10 megawatt multiplied by your factory, I think factory E2 rate is probably 30.3. So that's a lot of money over the year. Okay, runs into million. And at the same time, because of the cost differential in natural gas and power generation during the peak, right, you have an advantage of about 2.5 cents power or electricity generation cost. Okay. Apart from this, what you get next is the free heat recovery. May it be in the form of hot water, chill water. Okay, if your chill water is 35 cents per ton, that's a lot of saving there. Okay, in total, a trigen system, potentially you could be looking at 40% savings. Of course, we need to deal with the current situation of whether how much we need to provide for the standby demand. Right? There's been talk at the ministry level that this thing should be reduced. Currently, it's 14 ringgit per kilowatt, but I think it should be removed or reduced because it's already considered in the ICPT charges. Okay, and it will further enhance the whole your supply safety, meaning if you are getting currently from TNB as one source or even two sources, running your Trigen allow you an additional source. Okay, in China, a country which I also cover, for the big data center, they have so-called 4 sources. One of the sources is actually Trigen. Now, reduce CO2 emission. Generally, when you get a supply from the grid, you are looking at, I think the factor is 0.72 per kilowatt of generation. Whereas if you run purely on natural gas, you are looking at 0.182, if I'm not wrong, the factor. Meaning you save a lot of CO2 emission reduction. I think for some multinationals, it's particularly strong with the CSR agenda. This thing would give you a lot of points. Okay, I'm sharing I call it a hypothetical case, right? It's actually a real case, but I'm not at no liberty to review the name. So let's call it a hypothetical case. Power generation capacity of 9 megawatt, 9,000 kilowatt. You are looking at the estimated very rough investment of 50 million. But you are looking at the tax savings. This Trigen comes under the MICA scheme. You get 24% from capital allowance and another 24% from investment tax allowance. Generally, you should be able to get it. However, ITA may expire 2020. So if you wish to do it now, right? Now, you should be able to get cost savings per year of 9 million. So if you look at a simple payback, it's quite impressive, 2.9 years. Okay, despite the heavy investment. In the way we are also riding on the tax savings. And if you look at net present value over 25 years, potentially you are looking at 150 million. Okay, 150 million. And internal rate of return is 32%. Extremely good. Okay, solution to chiller plant optimization. G Energy started off in energy audit, and subsequently we went into energy optimization. And chiller plant is our strongest forte. Alright, we have, I think we are still holding the record for the best efficiency, which is 0.5. A building called Tokyo Marine in Singapore. Oh, by the way, our head office is in Singapore. Okay, 0.5. Meaning you need just 0.5 kilowatt to generate 1 ton of chill water. Okay, this is a benchmark. This is for the system, meaning your chiller power consumption, your condenser pump, chill water pump, and cooling tower all add in. Right? And for this project, it's 0.56. This one is at the Jewel, right? It's commercial. But we have other industrial projects, but this is a sizable one. Okay. Internally, we are looking at delivering or designing. Our starting point is 0.65 kilowatt per ton. Okay. Most existing buildings, maybe it be Singapore maybe slightly better now, Malaysia, China, or elsewhere, they tend to be in the region of about 0.8 to 1. Or even above 1. So there's a lot of savings here. What we will normally do for a chiller plant is that we will recommend, if you, after our walkthrough, it shows that you have potential for further optimization. We would like to propose a level 3 energy audit. In this case, first your tonnage will be measured at 1 minute interval over 2 weeks. So you superimpose, and your power will be picked up also. So with that, you get your kilowatt per ton. And you also review your tonnage histogram so that you know exactly how to design a rack system. The normal practice for most people or for most building owners is that when they come to replacement, they always go to one-to-one replacement. But bear in mind, most buildings were initially designed not with the optimization in mind. So there's always plenty of room for improvement. And that's why we are in business. So a benchmark would be normal benchmark used is this ASHRAE journal. Right, the red zone is the color implied is in the need to improve zone, and the blue zone is the excellent zone. Right, our 0.65 is at the excellent zone. Even if we are looking at factories or buildings of 0.85, if you move it to 0.65, potentially you are looking at 25% improvement. And the chiller plant consumes a lot of energy. Our approach is rather holistic. We will not just look at the water side. I think for some of you, they are familiar with the ACMV. You have a water side and you have the air side. So we have all the solution for the air side and the water side. And to get the best result, we need to work in tandem. I won't go into the detail, but do call us for a free walkthrough. Okay, and the trick here is, and what we will deliver is that for a building, a built environment that is not optimized, you will have, first of all, very high, very poor efficiency. But the efficiency will deteriorate further as you go to a lower load. It becomes worse. But what we will promise to deliver is a consistent efficiency. If we say 0.65, irregardless of the load that you are running, we will deliver. Okay. As you can see the line below. So again, a hypothetical case. If you look at the replaced capacity as 3,000 ton, potentially you're looking at investment of 9 million and tax savings again. In this case, your cost saving could be as much as 1.6 million. And again, payback 3.3 years. Of course, we need to consider the tax savings. The tax savings condition is if you are not already tax exempt, or you must have profit to be able to accept. Okay, solar PV implementation is okay. Potentially for factories, you have a lot of rooftop. So when you use, we can make use of that. Right. This is again some of the impact. It also cools down your cooling load because of the temperature. Okay, I'll go for a bit faster. And hypothetical case, you are also looking at within 5 years. But bear in mind, southern zone, the specific yield is lower, slightly lower than the northern. Okay? But nevertheless, it's better than central. Okay, compressed air system. This we only deal with a very big system. Okay? Because we need to fly in our expert from Europe. It's something quite unique. It's a first cloud computing so-called platform, right, that we will be able to deliver about 15 to 30%. Okay, I won't go into detail. Basically, you can see that before and after. we have a very special analysis too. Okay. Alright, boiler. As for boiler, we will advocate replacement more than anything else. Okay, because potentially if we can integrate a cogen or trigen, we can potentially look at the replacement. These are some of the options as I mentioned earlier. Turnkey, or you want a zero cost model, detail of which you can discuss with me directly. Some of our industrial clients, very reputable, okay, Rolls-Royce, Shell and whatnot. Okay, call me for a free walkthrough if you have the need. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Robert. Robert indeed has a wealth of information to share, so I hope some of you will take up his offer. Okay, now we're going to move on to something about solar. The next speaker is Mr. Prakash. Sorry, wrong slide actually. Yes, here we go. Mr. Prakash is the head of solar energy at Synergy, Southeast Asia, Sendirian Berhad. And he has an engineering degree and has a lot of experience in solar implementation. So Synergy is actually one of the divisions is Synergy Sunseed Energy Solutions, and it promotes a business model that is able to generate guaranteed savings via a mechanism described as zero upfront costs, zero risk to be borne. So today Prakash will be sharing some of that in his talk, Envision the Future of Solar and Energy Efficiency. Please join me to welcome Prakash.
Thank you, Sharon. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for Israeli for giving Synergy its opportunity to present solutions. Okay, so sustainable solutions to reduce electricity bills. We all pay electricity bills. It's always a heartache when we get those bills coming in on a monthly basis. There are a lot of solutions out there. So before I go further, what I can tell you all is we are no different from any other solution providers. So we just heard from Mr. Robert. Robert is a good friend of mine. It's the same set of solutions that we intend to offer. Now the only difference is we are willing to pay for the solution. We're not expecting you to pay for it. We go on a long-term contract basis. Okay? So before moving further, let's just see what is it that's in your electricity bill. Many of us don't really take the time to actually look at it and look at where we can actually look at savings. So what I've listed here is 4 different components. The first part is kegunaan, kilowatt hours, basically what is being consumed on a daily and monthly basis. So that's your consumption bill. The second part is kehendak maksima. Of course, residential customers don't have this. This is more for industrial and commercial customers. This is basically the allocated capacity by TNB, which the facility is going to use. Okay, that's a separate rate that you actually have to pay. And then you have the ICPT charges, which is the imbalance cost pass-through. Now this cost is usually revised every 6 months. From January to July 2018, it was a rebate given by the government. And moving forward, the following 6 months, it was a surcharge. Now we personally don't see that going back as a rebate next year onwards. It's going to be a continuous surcharge after this. This is basically what the government subsidizes in terms of fuel costs for all the non-renewable power generating plants in the country. And finally, you have the KWTBB, Kumpulan Wang Tenaga Boleh Dibaharui, okay, which is renewable energy. It's a small kitty that's been set up to basically pay for the generation of renewable energy into the grid. So that's at a rate of 1.6% of your total bill. It started off at 1%, it's at 1.6%, the government is bullish to implement renewable efforts, it may even go up to 2%. So if you actually reduce your consumption, kegunaan, kilowatt hour, okay, you're not only generating savings from that portion, but subsequently you're also reducing your ICPT charges and your KWTT TBB charges because they're 1.6%. So it's a multiple savings effect that you can see if you can reduce this. Now, what I'm going to talk to you further is how you can actually reduce at zero cost and zero risk. Okay. So let me just give you a quick overview of Synergy. Okay. Synergy is 93% owned by Khazanah Nasional. Okay, that's a portfolio of companies that we have. The team is basically built of technical and commercial people. So we basically build up business models for clients to basically say that we bring in the technical solution, we will even tell you how to finance it. And usually we are the ones who finance it. You go on a long-term contract and we will give you guaranteed savings. Okay. So Synergy started as a company that looked at biogas projects. We've got 4 operating plants in the state of Pahang, and we've also implemented energy efficiency programs. Okay, we've got a couple of customers. We've got one big project that's due to be completed in December, which is worth 40 million. Now, under Synergy Group, there's a subsidiary called Synergy Sunseap Energy Solutions. And that's a partnership with Sunseap Group. Sunseap is basically the largest solar integrator for rooftop in Singapore. They've got almost 200 megawatts, and they've also expanded their horizon within the ASEAN and Asia Pacific region. So we've got that partnership with Sunseap, and basically this is a group, and this is a portfolio that they have at the moment. Some of their credentials that they already have in Singapore. So this partnership is basically on a 60-40 basis, and it's basically to build the business over here in Malaysia for both solar and energy efficiency projects. Okay. So what is it that I keep saying about zero cost, zero risk, sit back and enjoy savings? So there's 2 different options that we are offering. One is called the rooftop solar power model, and one more is called the energy savings performance agreement, the ESPA model. Okay. So generally, we all know what we need to do to reduce our electricity bills, but this will cost us money. Okay. If the investment is small, like what Mr. Robert said, if you can recoup it within the X number of years, then it's worthwhile pursuing. But some of the solutions would require upfront cost, and generally in a business where your core business is not to reduce electricity, if you're in a manufacturing business and you want to focus on actually increasing productivity, you're not going to go and sit back and look at something else, to invest into something, to build a separate team to maintain it just to generate savings. Because some of the hidden costs that you don't see is replacement capex and allocating resources to it. We're just not talking about allocating money to buy the capex. You need to maintain it so that it performs to give you that amount of savings. Those are the hidden costs that you will never see. And here at Synergy Sunseap, what we tell you is that we will come in, we will do the analysis, we will propose what needs to be replaced or what needs to be installed. We will then propose what is the cost, and we will even tell you, we will even bear the cost. Now what we need to do in return is to go in on a contractual obligation with the client for a certain number of years. Now that certain number of years is basically the payback period for us. And once we have achieved that payback period, we will hand over the asset to you. So if you see this small graph over here, okay, which says now there is a base case, which is basically what are your utility bills at the moment. Now you go in with a contract savings with us, you will see that there is a certain amount of savings. Now part of that savings, we will actually have to recoup the investment that is put in. So now think about it this way, you're not investing any money, and I'm telling you that you're already going to get savings. Okay? But you just got to share a bit with us. And that's for a certain period of time. After that, we will hand over the asset to you. Now, even once you have handed over the asset, we will then give you an option. Now, I can keep maintaining this asset and make sure that you get that maximum amount of savings that are projected, because we know the know-hows. Okay, these are the different options that we have. Now, there's two options to the business model. Option one is the one that basically gives you zero headache and you get a good night's sleep. So zero cost, zero risk. Okay, so zero capex from the client, zero operating costs. You do not come up with a single penny. We find out what's required to reduce your bills, and we will integrate the solutions. So, like I said, the solutions that we have here are the same solutions that all the other solution providers have. What we actually do is we actually work with the solution providers. Okay, we have Surya Infinity here. They are solar PV integrators. We basically tell them that, look, I've got a client that's looking at this system. I've already seen what's required. You come in as a contractor. I finance the whole solution, but the contractual obligation is with me. Okay, so we don't actually remove anyone from the equation. Okay, it's basically trying to integrate the solutions with all the existing solution providers. It's more of a big brother stepping in to finance a solution for clients who find it difficult to actually come up with that capex. That's the only thing different that we do. Now, option two is clients that feel that, I actually can allocate this resource and I can actually pay for it. So option two is we will tell you what's required, we will tell you what's the cost. Again, we sit down with the solution providers, we'll tell them, okay, get this done for the contractor, and that's an upfront payment that we're going to get. And then we step away. Now, the only difference is option one comes with a long-term solution whereby your risk is mitigated because we are still in the picture. Option two is the typical contractual obligations. 2 years of defects liability period, 5 years of latent defects. That's about it. Beyond that, you need to take care of the asset. Now, rooftop solar PV system. Basically, we know what's required to design the system. We have a look at your electricity bills based on the regulation by Energy Commission. The system design is based on 75% of your declared MD to TMB or 60% of the main fuse rating. The discount that we offer, so once we utilize your roof space, we install the solar panels, we will then sell electricity to you. So you can either go on a self-consumption mode or you can actually go on the net energy metering scheme. The discount rates that we offer, okay, will vary between 5 to 30% depending on the system size, the tenure of the contract, and the type of the tariff structure. Okay, now we all know recently that the minister has announced that everybody can actually participate in a net energy metering scheme, where if you have ample roof space, you can actually utilize the roof space, and this is even open to residential customers. So I'm hoping to meet people from Radar to actually explore this option, where we can actually offer the solution to all customers, be it the B40s, the M40s, and even the H20s. Okay, we will tell them, we will finance it, we go on a long-term lease basis. You get to use solar during the daytime, offset part of electricity, the excess, you get to sell it. Now, the key important point here is, when you purchase electricity from us, it's at a discount rate and what TNB is charging you. But when you sell it back to the grid, the excess, you're selling it at a one-to-one basis on what TNB is charging you. So that's savings plus profit at zero cost and zero risk. That's what we intend to offer to the residential customers, the commercial customers, the industrial customers. We've got a quota of 500 megawatts that will be taken up very fast. 50 megawatts for the residential customers, 450 megawatts for the commercial industrial customers. This is where we intend to build a portfolio. So that's the BOT concept, which is build, operate, own, and transfer. Transfer basically transferring of the asset at the end of the concession. So these are a couple of solutions that we have at the end of the contract tenure. Basically, You can continue the PPA with us, or we could completely transfer the asset to you, or we could transfer the asset and just do maintenance for you. These are some of the equipments that we look at. We are technology agnostic, so we don't have any exclusivity to anyone, including our solution providers. Anyone who gives us the best solution, we will go with them on a project-to-project basis. We've got a savings calculator on our website, www.cses.com.my, for those who want to know what type of savings that you can actually enjoy with the scheme that we are proposing. Please log on to the website. You could just key in the details. Those details are available on your TNB bill. You will know what kind of savings you can get. Option 2, okay, this is no different than from what G Energy has mentioned. Okay, so I'm just going to speak about the contractual obligations. So basically, we will tell you what's required to be changed in your building in order to reduce electricity bills. So solar is basically on a macro basis. We look at the overall bill and we tell you solar can displace this amount of energy. We even can go into the micro basis. This is where the micro basis is. We actually tell you what are your equipments that are consuming energy. And then we go back to our solution providers. We tell them, okay, this is what needs to be replaced. You come in, do the replacement. I will finance the solution. Okay? That's a roadmap. Doesn't really change much from what you saw earlier from the previous presentation. These are the types of solutions that we can integrate. And solar can also be part of this. So we can integrate for a total solution. This is some of the case studies. So please come over to our booth and we can actually explain some of these case studies. And moving forward, if you would like to for us to come in and look at, so these are some of the things that require utility bills, single line diagrams for some of our industrial and commercial customers, and we can sit down and discuss how we can move forward. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Great talk, Prakash. Oh, sorry about the mic.
Okay. Anyway, sounds like a win-win, doesn't it? So, including a win for the environment as well. Anyway, moving on to our community message for today, because at every Green Talks, we try to have one or two short presentation from a member of the community, or to talk about how that industry can work closely with the community, which is something to do with the social sustainability. And today, the speaker for the community announcement is Encik Sharul from SWM Environment. So I think all the Johorians know what is SWM Environment. It is actually the concessionaire company that is handling all our municipal waste. Like in KL, I think it's Alam Flora, right? So in the southern states, it's SWM Environment. But Encik Sharul is actually the sort of like their sustainability officer. So he goes around to schools and visiting companies to talk to them about beyond the normal solid waste management, what we can do more in terms of managing waste, the 5 R's or the 3 R's. We'll be going into that. So if any of you would like Encik Sharul to talk at your business or at a school or anything, community group, I think he'll be more than happy to do that. Okay, so now Encik Sharul will be telling us something about what as an industry or in the factory type of scenario we can do to help to minimize waste. So please join me to welcome Encik Sharul.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sharul Amir Abdullah. I'm the Chief Executive of the Communication Department of SWM Environment. First of all, I would like to thank Michelle and her team for inviting me to give some talk on waste management. Actually, I'm going to talk about waste minimizations and segregation of sorts. Just a brief introduction that I would like to put on that. waste is actually a big crisis in this country because of the increase in population, the increase in the development, and also there are a lot of waste that being produced every day, and it's very complex. In a way that we have to find a suitable place to dump all this garbage or waste. That I think it can be a very serious issue nowadays. So the government has to find a very suitable place to build up a new landfill, because of we have a lot of landfills in Malaysia, but most of the landfills are now have reached critical, very critical issue, like we have found it in optic mines, and they have been used years, and we have so many technology nowadays that we can introduce, but it's a very cost in terms of to find a very suitable solutions to solve this matter. A brief introduction of SWM. SWM Environment is a concessionaire company which appointed by the federal government to solve its waste management and efficiency. Especially for SWM, we covered the southern region, Johor, Kelantan, and Queensland. We covered the whole state, except in Johor we have covered the whole state except for Pengerang. Pengerang is still under the PBT, but Pengerang. And the company was established since 1995, and since 2011, the new act was introduced by the federal government that is on specifically on waste management. So after that, the government have passed a bill on specifically on recycling under this 672 Act and 673. Those who are not recycling or segregate all this garbage into different materials, we can be fined up to 1,000 ringgit. The first fine will be about 50 ringgit. 50 ringgit, and the same offender will increase the amount of fine that the government trying to introduce. But the problem is that that's what Mr. Alex asking me about. How is the percentage of this waste segregation as household? Nowadays, we are targeting about 20 to 35%. But it depends not actually from this public awareness, but also must come into this the enforcement part. The enforcement must come together with the there must carrot and stick method. But the stick is not there, because it's very hard to find someone who throw rubbish into their own dustbin, because they will claim that it was done by others from the neighbors. It's very hard to do that. But now the government is going to review the method. We provide actually cleansing services like grass cutting, drain cleansing, road sweeping, waste collection, landfill management, and other kind of services. But specific for industrial, we have a affiliate company who provide paid services. That is our Ecoleaf Resources, Sdn Bhd. This is another company that provide paid services for industries. If you like to have this kind of services, you can engage with the company to collect waste from your place. Okay. This is the act that I have mentioned about, where under Solid Waste and Public Cleansing and Management Act 2007, waste is anything discarded, rejected, surplus, abandoned, or otherwise released into the environment in a manner or quantity that could have an impact on the environment. Means the products that we use is beyond the economic usage, or any substance that required to dispose or as being broken, worn out, contaminated, or otherwise spoiled. It is considered as waste. In Malaysia, we produce about 40,500 tons of waste daily. That equivalent to a state of the smallest state in Malaysia, like Perlis, within 5 days. If you put another 4 days, add more 4 days, equivalent to 9 days, it is equivalent to a KLCC tower. That is the amount of waste that will be reduced daily. And the plastic container will take about 50,000 years to be decomposed. It depends on the thickness of the plastics material. We have hundreds of plastics categories. We have PET, PET bottles, we have ABC, ABS, we have PP, polypropylene, we have PE, polyethylene, and a lot more plastics. And the problem is that this plastic can be found easily under the ocean. That's why some countries, they try to ban plastics from their uses. And in Malaysia, we have waste about 17,800 tons of food waste daily. And you know that about 66 million children are starving around this world. So our Malaysia, with the Semangat Malaysia Boleh, we produce a lot of waste. Because you can produce waste, in fact, you can build a new causeway between Johor Bahru linked with Singapore using waste. That's how the waste is becoming a big problem nowadays. As a developing country, we produce daily, 1% produce about 0.8 to 1.5 kilogram of waste. Normally, our waste actually wet and contained. Okay? And our landfill can only be catered about 3 to 5 years. After 5 years, you have to find another new landfill. Yeah, this is the thing that I mentioned just now. And most of the waste are actually our food waste, 46%, paper 8.5%, plastic 13.5%, diapers 12%, metal 2%, glass 3%, textile 3%, wood 2%, and others 10%. Others actually our food container, for this power, polystyrene or styrofoam. So what we have to do now is to practice recycling using 3R methods. We reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce, we have to reduce the amount of waste that we produce daily, or otherwise you can also buy in bulks. You can save your money by reusing the product that you have used, and also the last 3R is recycling. Recycling is reprocessing of new from used products into new products or other products. And you can add more art, like Sharon just mentioned about QR. You can re-educate, you can repair, refill, and other art. Rotting, that's how we can improve our waste. Okay. So, what are the recyclable items? There are actually a lot of recyclables like plastics, all kinds of plastics, papers, especially on newspapers, carton boxes, papers, all kinds of papers, except for carbonized paper or glossy paper. Aluminum can, your 7-Up, Coca-Cola, and all sort of cans can be recycled. Steel cans, copper, glass bottles, e-waste, computer, TV, reuse items like fabrics and tissue and shirts. For glass bottles, we have only in Malaysia we have only company that can reprocess the glass bottle, like Malay Glass. So I forgot the new name located in Dalam Kampung. So separation at source is actually methods that introduced by the government to manage our household waste. We have two times collection per week for waste collection and one specific day for recyclables, for green waste and also your bulk waste like your televisions, your sofa, your furnitures, or finishes. Whenever you want to have a festival or you have for your Hari Raya, normally you want to change on that, so we will provide this service. Okay, just put it beside your bin. Okay, so recycling helps to reduce the amount of waste that goes to the landfill. Each year there are organic garbage streams that could be composted and recycled to use for fertilizer, and most of the products like diapers, pants, razor blades, tires and aluminum, all which can be used to be recycled into other products. I think that's all for my briefing. If you have any questions, you can bring up later. Thank you.
Thank you, Encik Sharon. So there's some tips you can get to implement in your own homes, I think, but Encik Sharon, the separation at source is not enforced for industrial facility yet, right? Only for household. But nonetheless, as an operator of a facility, you can also take your own initiative, right? Like if your processing generates some waste, you could look into how that can be turned into a useful product. For example, this product here, Isotech blocks. Sorry, they're outside having a discussion. I know them quite well. So that is actually produced from waste liquid crystal display. You know, the screen that you have for the TVs and the computers. So they collected all the some of the trimmings and the broken screens are all collected by from certain parties and made into the blocks. I think they developed it with the University of Cambridge. 8 years of development, but this is a fantastic product made from a waste material. And today at our event here, we are actually not generating any waste. Maybe a few sheets of paper. Well, I tried not to print any papers, but still need to print a bit. And for example, with the water, the Watero unit is dispensing water, so there's no need for plastic bottles. Of course, outdoor event is a bit more challenging. You can always ask people to bring their own bottle, right? That's the trend now. Oh yeah, by the way, everybody, if you need to have some water, please help yourself. Really good quality filtered water at the back. Okay, and last but not least, we will have a closing address by Tim Waddington, who is the founder and director of Zurelli, and he will be sharing some exciting developments from Zurelli and how we can all work together to make the world a greener place. Thank you, Tim. Please join me to welcome Tim.
Well, thank you for coming. I'll let you use the microphone. As I said earlier, I touched on what I was going to talk about now right at the beginning, but Zurelli is a platform that we like to engage with everybody. So we like to partner with anybody in the green space. it really is the only way we're going to get to actually make a difference. None of us individually are big enough or have enough influence to instigate change. So collectively, we have to be looking at. And Zarelli is all about that. It's all about from the grassroots level to trying to invite people from NGOs to get involved, to big corporates, to governments, to to any part of the sector. So your support for Zarelli is really welcome and greatly received. The main database is a free listing. We don't charge any company or service to go on that, any organisation. So we encourage the likes of the Green Building Council of Malaysia to come on board. We encourage anybody that actually can make a difference, because that's really what it's all about. We went through some of this earlier. So the way I see things is that we have, this is sort of our market, we've got tens of thousands of websites, buyers, 6-7 billion people that need solutions, so huge market. We have the green associations, the products, but we don't really have anything that connects all those into one platform. That's really what we're going to do. Obviously, the database is only up to a point good, because you only go to the database to find what you're looking for. You don't normally go to the database to find what you don't know is there. So the idea of things like Green Talk is to introduce new ideas and new concepts. The actual platform itself has two parts to it. It's got the company profile, so that we've got quick connections to websites, emails, telephone numbers, all free without charging any of that. When we get into a product, we try to give the information people need, so photographs, technical sheets, EMI files, anything that you need to help to connect. Again, we don't get in the way of any commercial links, we don't take commissions from any deals. This is an information platform. The idea is to share information. Green Talks is what we're in now, so next year we'll do 6 more here. We might tweak the slightly, as we learned from what we've done this year. We've got 6 more to do up in KL. Sunway, who are our partners, are asking us to maybe to go to Penang as well, so we'll see how all that works. Singapore starts in February, so the dates for the Singapore shows are now listed on Singapore 65, Ready 65. So these are the sort of talks that we've been involved in, some of you being before. Catalogs come online next year. This is like a Green Talk online, so we're targeting solutions to different sectors. So if you have a product that appeals to hotels or facility management, then we are producing catalogs that actually target those markets. Again, trying to make sure the right products get to the right people. We partner with whoever we can. Anybody in the green space we want to talk to, we want to try and collaborate with, we've worked with quite a few organisations, certainly a few, Green Tag, which is an Australian mark, but it's also relevant in Malaysia and South Africa. So we try wherever we can to link with other companies. This is why really, because we really do have a huge problem. Unless we act, the problem can only get worse. So collectively, we need to do something, but we can only do it. Not one of us can sort these problems out by ourselves. So we all have to work together. And that's it. So Zarelli 60 is the Malaysian site. Join the blog, put up some stuff. Let's try to get engaging with more people, get products up on the website. We've got solutions. We want to hear about them. We want to help promote them. We want to work with industry. We want to work with organisations. We want to work with government. So on that note, that's the end of my pitch. Thank you very much for coming. So pick up and have a sandwich and we're going to go. So I thought we were finished. No.
I just wanted to mention 3 things before we start our networking. There's more food and coffee, so please stay and network. There is actually a tour of the big wheel at 12 o'clock. If any of you like to have a look around this complex here. And the other thing related to waste, please return your name tag so that we can reuse it, one of the 3 R's. And that's about it. And do check out our website to get more information about the companies here today, more information about the Green Talk speakers and the future talks. And thank you all very much for being here with us today, making the effort to be here. And please continue to think about how we can all work together to make the world a greener place. Thank you.